What up, beautiful people? I'm back. Look, I didn't get beat up, so don't worry about this. This comes from being like this. You know when you whew, anything just leave impressions on me. Okay, listen. I want to talk about take me as I am, right? A lot of people want people to accept them for who they are. And they feel rejected, and that happens because people cannot accept you for who you are when you don't know who you are. A lot of times people present a false version of themselves to the world. We put on makeup, we change our bodies, we wear certain clothes because we want the world to see us one way, but behind closed doors, that's not necessarily who we are. A lot of times we like to the world to believe we're perfect and that there's nothing wrong with us when that's not true. And this is why you see a lot of people's downfalls or people being attacked because they have presented themselves one way to the world, but behind closed doors they're a different way. Listen, when you want to say take me as I am, well, you have to make sure you know who you are, because a lot of times, and I'm gonna give this for example, there's so many women out there, right, and men who are saying they're heartless, right? I'm in my bag. What you gonna do for me? I got the best wop, whoop de whoop. I got all this money, whoop de whoop, and we're presenting ourselves as our false selves. We're not being our authentic selves, right? And so when people start to get to know us, well, then sometimes you start to feel rejection because as your true self reveals itself, well, then the other person doesn't want to accept your true self. And so a lot of times it causes us to have hurt feelings and we start to feel inadequate. And this is why you have to get to know yourself and accept yourself before someone else can. So I want you guys to sit with yourself and get to know yourself and accept yourself before you expect someone else to accept you. And that is the toughest journey. Because sometimes we feel who we are really, the world won't accept us. And that's not true. There's always going to be somebody who accepts you for who you are. But in order to find that person, excuse me, you have to accept you for who you are, because you can only be fake for so long, right? You present yourself to the world one way, but when you are tired of being that way and you're in the comfort of your home, when you're with this person who you have put on a show for, well, they start to see your real selves, and maybe your real self doesn't match up with their real self. And this is why when two fake people come together, it always crashes. Not only that, there's so many people afraid to be their true selves, to be their authentic self. And you don't have to be afraid to be who you are. You have to understand that, sweetheart, you are not perfect. And so sometimes when somebody says, hey, those things you do, I really don't like that. And so you take that as you're not good enough. That's not real. It just means that for that person, well, they don't really like that. And you have to sit there and process that information and decide, well, is this something about myself that I'm willing to change? Because if it is something in yourself that you are willing to change, because deep down inside, we know what we need to change, right? You go from there. And together, you guys can build that. This is why God gave you helpmates. Not to pay your bills, not to take care of you, but to help you be a better version of yourself. So don't always take it as someone's trying to tear you down, because understand, God will tear down falsehoods. God tears down false idols, all those things. And this is why you see people crumbling. This is why you see sanctions crumbling. Because God is tearing them down to rebuild them. And sometimes you have turned yourself into a monster. And so God has to tear that monster down to let your true self come out, right? You're entrapped by your lies and your deception. And so God is revealing your lies and your deception. And it is up to you to take accountability for who you turned yourself into instead of who you are meant to be. I hope you guys start to be who you're meant to be instead of who you thought you were supposed to be. I hope you guys have a good day.